this is exactly why I've decided to build a wall. You guys need to stay out. Stay out of my kingdom, my property. Shoo! Go away. Go away. Wait, I have no arrows on. Oh no. Hello, my nerds, my geeks, my weebs, and my memers alike to episode 5, Minecraft Let's Play Survival 1.18. And in this episode, we are gonna do a ton of building. That's right, I am dedicating a whole episode to finally bringing Ethia up to its best time, its greatest glory, and it's gonna take a lot of work. Let me tell you. So, let's get right into it because I'm going to be building for quite a long time. Hi, voiceover Jewel here. So, obviously, the first thing that had to go was the hill, and a lot of this involves some pretty intense terraforming. And in which case, I found out the hill was more stone than it was dirt, so, you know, at least I got more cobblestone out of it. And boy, did I use a lot of shovels. Finally, here in this next bit, I ended up adding the dirt. It was flat enough for me and I was pretty satisfied. I could have went further, but just generally decided not to since there was a lot I had planned. Here in the next bit, you can see me terraforming even more on the other side of the land, near the rundown village. In which case I just flattened it out a little bit. I didn't want to mess too much with the landscape because I was already pretty satisfied with it. I just wanted some 2x2 little hills. Alright, finally we got to some actual building, in which case I decided to tackle one of the bigger things first, which was building an entire wall around the whole of my kingdom or my land or whatever you want to call it. I started out generally first with just one layer of cobblestone to go around the whole thing, and I would later go on to add a secondary layer after this one. You know, I wasn't able to pick up on this originally, but it's hilarious watching it in this view and seeing the skeleton that I just missed by like mere moments. Finally, we come to the end of the second layer of the cobblestone wall. Almost. I had to run back and forth for quite a lot of materials, which is why you see me disappear off the camera quite a bit of times. And I'm also adding some decorative wood on the outside as well as the inside. So as you can notice in the left-hand corner, which I didn't notice them before, but I do really quickly. This is exactly why I've decided to build a wall. You guys need to stay out. Stay out of my kingdom, my property. You, go away. Go away. Wait, I have no arrows on. Oh no. Shoot! Help! Indeed. Why do I have to do this? Yeah. Catch that arrow in time. Ouch! Well, back to work. Yep, back to work. After that initial confrontation, I don't know how many of you noticed the magic arrow in this little bit of a clip, but I thought it was absolutely hilarious how that little glitch out happened. One thing I gotta say, there was surprisingly a lot of rain happening while I was recording. Why that is, I don't know. Coincidence? Who knows? Finally, I start adding more of the decorative outside things. In this case, I chose the Jungle Woods pink palette, as well as some barrels and some pretty stone blocks to fill in the inside of the bridge, and I think it was a pretty cute contrast. And then this wandering trader ended up kind of getting in my way, but I left him be. But he becomes important later in this episode, you'll find out why. Now, yeah, I had a confrontation with some more pillagers that somehow managed to sneak through because I hadn't put in the doors yet,
which was really rather annoying. And in which case, I was worried about my llama's safety because this isn't the first time that it's happened. So I did a quick remodel on their pen to ensure that no one else could fall in and possibly hurt them. My poor llamas. I then immediately moved forward with making a door design so that hopefully the pillagers can't run into me building anymore. And I could protect my llamas, of course. I then decided to move forward with building a bridge over to the other side of the river just to make it easier to travel. I do plan on adding more to this later, but in this episode I just concentrated on building the bridge. So I initially started with stairs, but I actually didn't like them because they were too big and bold, so I instead decided to go with some more spread out slabs as stairs. I then moved back to terraforming once again because I decided that the cows and the sheep, they deserved better. And I was going to make them a barn and maybe open up their space a little bit more. For the barn build, I once again decided to go with the fairy wood pink. At least that's what I call it. I really like the jungle wood pink in this case. Now, I wasn't entirely sure about the camera angles during this. I'm still getting used to using the replay mod program, which I use to do this. So if you guys have any advice, let me know. Finally, after the roof was done, I decided to hop right into the barn and fix up the floor a bit. After finishing up on opening up the cow pens, I decided to build a tiny little side pen just for our beloved sheep cow. And I hope he likes it. Next, I decided to tackle the biggest part of my building project, in which case I decided to build a tower right over on top of my house. Also, don't mind the pink wool, that was just marked there so I could tell where I could enter when I was in my house. In this case, I started with just the initial building up from the bottom instead of trying to tackle the whole shape at once, which in the long run I felt was easier since at this time I don't have an elytra. Also, a quick and huge shout out to my uncle who was initially helping me collect all the cobblestone and wood that was needed for this episode. He's also the one that got me into Minecraft when I was only 12 years old, and it's become a real fun, obsessive game since. Also, I'll link his channel in the description. Yes, he's here on YouTube as well. He likes to build old computers and play games such as Farming Simulator, so if you guys are interested in that, I will leave a link in the description. I initially decided to go back to that cobblestone block there since it wasn't as visually interesting as the rest of the build, in which case I think I fixed it up to the best of my ability. Also, for comedy's sake, you will not believe how many times I ended up falling off this build, and 50% of the time I survived, but only 50. Finally, we are reaching the midsection near the top and or toward the end, and at this time I had a pretty difficult issue with trying to get the outer roof to protrude in the correct way, so it took me quite a bit of attempts to get it right. Finally, toward this point, I actually started to get it pretty much correct and how I wanted it. Finally, we get to the building of the roof, which I initially thought I was either going to do in entirely stone or I was going to add the fairy pink as a accent color, but I initially chose something else and a little unexpected. So, how many of you got the guess correct? Now, granted, I do know that this orange color is not going to stay, and I'm actually kind of excited to see it oxidize and turn green. I think it will be a really pretty off color to all the pink I've been using in this episode. Finally, the giant tower was complete, and I decided to move on to a little bit of a smaller, more decorative project, such as making a little pond, which I'm later going to fill with fish. At this point, you can see me struggling to place the water a little bit, but I did eventually get it to straighten out. Next, I decided that since I have so many farm animals, I also wanted to add chickens and make a really pretty chicken coop. I also decided to keep the design pretty in close with the barn that I had already built, so back to the fairy pink. I then went to throwing an egg in which case I did get one chicken, so successful throw. After the chicken coop, I also decided that since I had some new seeds from raiding chests and things from the last couple of episodes, that I was going to build a tiny plant gazebo. And finally, the plant gazebo was pretty much done. I also thought, since all these farms are together, where would the water source have come from? So I went about building a tiny little aesthetically pleasing well. At this point, I had some trouble placing the rails, but I eventually figured it out and found something that pleased me. I then decided to build some more smaller decorative pieces and decided to go with some lamps to light up the area. In this case, the wandering trader was really rather curious about it, and how he got in, I later deduced he came through the cave that I didn't notice was under my house. At that point, I decided that I should probably block off the cave to stop this from happening and from vindicators also making their way in. And in which case, the wandering trader managed to disappear. He probably opened a door later. And he left 2 llamas behind. How this happened, I don't know. But I have more llamas now. I decided to add some dripstone after using the iron to block off things just because I had some spare, and it was a very aesthetically pleasing cave thing. Well, that was a lot of building and a lot accomplished for this episode. Also, I don't know if you guys got to see on my film or not, but we now have an official banner. Kinda looks like Navi from The Legend of Zelda, which I am all for. I love fairies. And, we ended up getting 2 new llamas. I don't remember if I explained that in the preview of the footage or not, but a wandering trader just showed up and then disappeared, and the 2 llamas were here. So we have 2 more llamas to add to the family. And this time, I want you guys to give me some name suggestions for them, because at this point I'm getting tired of naming them, along with the 2 cats here that I rescued from the mountain while also building. So yeah, name suggestions. Drop them in the comments. And before I completely sign off, I have one more thing to do, and it's very important. How? Come here. There. You look just like them now. Oh, he's so happy. Alright. Anyway, I think that's gonna do for this episode. A lot went into it, and I hope you guys really enjoyed. Thanks again for watching. Bye! Hey guys, did you like the video? Please consider subscribing if you did. My channel has 2 forms of major content here. If you like my gaming, maybe you'd like to support me on a personal level. In that case, I have a Ko-fi open for donations so I can continue to do this. Or if you really like my artwork and speed paints, I also have a Patreon where you can subscribe for behind-the-scenes content and get exclusive art commissions every month. Links are in the description box, as always, along with my other socials. Thank you so much for your continued support.